let's create our Gantt chart. Let's write down our project name and the important components of our chart, the task, the start date, the end date, the person in charge, the progress, which will show the percentage of completion later. And then we will write down the tasks. Let's start, or let's divide the tasks into two phases. The first phase, well, let's assign it as the planning phase. And then let's have the tasks here. And then the next phase, let's say it's the design phase. Okay, let's indent this for a neater look. All right, and then we'll enter the corresponding start and end dates for each of the tasks. So let me just start with, let's say August 5, 2021. And let's format this to have the default date format. So let's highlight and then right click, click on format cells and date. And let's look at the format that we like. So I like this one. So date and the month and then the year. Okay, so that when we enter the dates, it will automatically format it to the one that we selected. So 8/12/2021, and then this will end in 8/18/2021, and then we will have starting on 8/18, and then it will end on 8/23. And then let's say for the phase 2 task, we'll start with 8/23. Then it will end on August 25. Then this and on August 27. It will end at August, start in August 27 and will end on August 29. Okay. Now we have those. Now let's put the timeline labels. Let's just put it here. Okay, and start with the date. Okay, let's assume that it's just August 1, but I just want to show, to display 1 here, okay, the first day of the month. So we'll have to format this, right click, format cells, and date or custom, okay, and then let's just put the day, okay, the first day. There you go. And then we'll just copy to the right. And next, I want to show the day corresponding to this date. Please take note that the complete date is stored in the cell or in each of these cells, but the only one that's displayed is the date. Okay. What we want to do is to show the corresponding day of this date. So we will use an Excel function called text, and we will refer to this date and show or display this in a DDD format. This will now show Sunday. And we'll just copy that to the right. But actually, I'd rather have this shown with one letter on only. So I'll just have to add another function here before the text, and I'd like to get the first letter of this day. Okay, so we'll have to use the left function, left, open parenthesis, and we just want to get one character or the leftmost character. See, now we have S. So again, we'll just copy that to the right. Then let's have it centered. And I'd like this also to be merged. And I'd like to put here the date. Or actually, I'd like this to be linked. Okay, so I have an equal sign and link it here. Okay, but it shows the same format. So let's change that to, so format cells, right click, format cells, and then change the date to the default date. Okay, there you go. So that will be the, and then what we will do is to copy this. So let me just make the condense this a bit, and then we'll just copy this. So we'll have that. Okay, so copy more of this and another one. Oops, sorry. So let's have another one. There you go. Okay, I think that will be enough. All right. So the next thing that we will do is to make the chart area dynamic. Okay, so we'll have to put the start date here. Okay, and we'll enter a date here to show the start date, the start of the project. And we want this to be editable, so I'll just highlight that. But I'd like this to be formatted to a longer date format. So first I'll have to merge and center. And then we will format this, or right click and then format cells, custom, and then we'll change it to this format, DDD. So the day, okay, and then space, and the date. So D, and then the month and the year. We'd like it to be that format. So this is okay. Looks good to me. So let's click on OK. Then we have that format of the date. Now let's link the first day to the start day here. Okay, let's link it here. And let's make it an absolute reference to that start date. Okay, and let's add 1 day. Okay, let me just, so this one is a formula. And then it's G5, the one, the cell on its left plus 1. There you go. And I'll just copy that to the next columns. Okay, so you see that all the others already have adjusted. Now, okay, looks good, but let's highlight, let's do a little formatting here. So let's just highlight this and put a gray fill, including this. Okay, let's complete that. Maybe to make it look better. And let's include this. Okay, and then we'd like to remove the grid lines so that our Gantt chart will be neater. So we'll select this to select everything in the sheet, and then click on view and uncheck grid lines. Then that will be a neat chart. Okay, so the next one is to add the bars. Normally, if you will not be doing formatting or conditional formatting, what we will do is to highlight the dates that's covered by this start and end date. So what we will do is to just highlight that and color the cells, right? And you have to do that for all the tasks that you will enumerate. But we don't want to do that. So we'll have to remove that. No fill. What we want to do is to create a condition, okay, that will allow a cell to be filled with that color that we will choose, if two conditions are met. The first condition is that the date is greater than or equal to the start date, or the date is less than or equal to the start date. This means that this date should be between these two dates. Okay, and let's do that with the formatting, with the conditional formatting rule. So we highlight that, okay, and then we click on conditional formatting, and then we click on new rule. In some Excel versions, it will just show a list of choices wherein there's a use of formula there as a choice. So you just click on that and we will enter the formula later. But in my case, I will have to click on classic here. And then this is the part when I click or choose the use of formula. And now I'll have to enter the formula, okay? So the formula says that this date, okay, should be greater than this or equal to this, and this date should also be less than and equal to this. So we will have to use the and logical function of Excel, okay, and choose this. It should be less than or equal to this. And okay, the second condition is for this same cell to be less than, okay, did I choose less than? So this should be greater than, and then this should be less than or equal to this. And then this cell should be allowed to change its row. So what we will do is to remove this, okay, this, okay, and okay. So what we're saying is that this one should be allowed to change the column rather, not the row. And this one should be allowed to change the row. Okay. So that means we'll have to remove the absolute dollar sign there. And then we'll have to change the color. So in some Excel versions, you will see a format button here. You just click on that and it will show this option. So we want the fill, okay, to be this color, okay. And then that's the condition and it will show the bars. All right. So it now looks good. And the next thing that we want to do is to make the timeline dynamic. Okay, so let me just, maybe I need more space here. So I'll just cut this and put it here. And I'll just, um, okay, we want our timeline to always start on a Monday. Because here, depending on what we enter here, you'll see that the day will keep on changing, no, for the start of the week. We want this to be reflected as Monday always. So let's just go to the start date, okay, here. And we want let's just name the start date, okay. Through the name box here, we can do that. Let's use start date. Okay, so that will be okay. So when you click on here, the name box shows that as the name of this cell. And then let's go to the first date. Okay, this one, and edit the formula. Okay, let's edit the formula to subtract the weekday of the start date. Okay, so how do we do that? We just subtract, and then let's use the function weekday. Okay, it shows here, and then we'll have to refer to the start date, which is this. So let's say start date. Then you'll see that Excel shows the name of that cell, and we'd like to choose the start date of the weekday to be Monday. So let's choose 3 here. Okay, so the return type is 3 and close parenthesis, and that's it. You have the start date to be Monday. With this, the weeks on the timeline will start on a Monday, even if the start day is a different day. So let's see. 2021, still Monday. Oh, it just happened that it's also Monday. So let's have 13, 2021. So see, even if it's Friday here, it will show Monday here. Okay. Okay. Now let's enter the display week. Okay, that corresponds to this cell here. We'd like to fill it with yellow, and we'd like to name it, go to the name box and name it display week, right? And what we would like to do is for the timeline to change based on the entry in the display week cell. So if this is a 0, this will be, this will show the week before the start date. And if it's a 1, it is the week where the start date belongs. And then if it's a 2, it's the week after the start date. Okay. So what we'll do is to just edit the first date here in the timeline and add the display. So it's this, the formula would be display week minus 1 times 7. So we will add display week minus 1 times 7. Okay, so if I put there as a 1, the first week that will show will be the week of August 13. There we go. And then if it's a 0, it will be the week before August 13, the week of August 13. And if it's a 2, it will show the week after the week of August 13. So let's put that as 1 here. Now, let's put a scroll bar on top of the timeline for easy viewing. Okay, but we need to know that the scroll bar control can be accessed through the developer ribbon. So here we don't see the developer ribbon. So we need to turn on the developer ribbon by going to File. In most Excel versions, it's File, Options, Customize Ribbon, then select the developer box. But in my case, I have to go to Excel, Preferences. Okay, I have View and select the Developer tab here. Okay, click it here. In your case, you'll go to the File, Options, Customize Ribbon, then select the Developer box. So I'll close this. We see that developer ribbon is already shown in this area. Okay, and we can click on it, add a scroll bar button, and then just draw it here. Okay, position it, and we can just drag it to where we want it scrolled, maybe up to here. Okay, and then click on Format Control to link it to the display week, which is this. Okay, and we go to page change, so that's 1. Okay, so we'll see that this one now scrolls to the succeeding weeks. Okay, you don't need to go scroll to the, to your worksheet and go to the end just to scroll to your, or scroll your timeline. So there we go. We have that. We can then change the display by using the scroll bar. It's a cool feature of Excel. Now let's highlight. Let me just change this to 1. Okay. So let's highlight today's date by choosing the date timeline area. Okay, this is the timeline area. Let's include that. Okay. And go to conditional formatting. We have to go to Home, Conditional Formatting, and set a new rule. Okay. we need to set a rule that compares, so use a formula, and then let's set a rule that compares the date, okay, to the date today. If it is true, then we will put a border, okay, the two vertical borders to that particular column. So let's compare this, okay, to the date today. We'll use the function today, and we'll make the row, we'll make the column relative, so we'll have to remove that, and set the border to red. Okay, border, let's make it red, and use this, okay, okay, and then click on okay. Then the date today is highlighted. So tomorrow it will be this, then the next day, so it will be moving depending on the current date. Now we will go to the progress column and enter the completion percentage of each of the tasks. But before that, since this will be a percentage, let's format that to a percent by clicking percent here. And then we can put there the percentage of completion for each of the tasks. Okay, so we'll have 25%, for example. This is already nice, but it would be better if we have a data bar here for each of the tasks that represents the completion percentage. So we can do that by going to conditional formatting and click on data bars and choose a solid fill. Okay, this is okay, but we have to set a minimum and a maximum for each one. We'll go back to conditional formatting, manage rules, and edit the rule. So minimum should be 0, should be a number, 0, and then maximum is a number, which is a 1. And then let's change the fill to a light gray color. And now we have that. Let's see if it's working. So we have 100%, 50%. Okay, it works now. Okay, all right. Now, it would be better if we also have these bars also shaded corresponding to the completion here. So what we will do before we do a conditional formatting of the this range, what we will do is to just simulate this by putting a 1, okay, for the day that's already completed, and a 0 for those that are not done yet. So in this case, this represents 50%, okay, of the whole task completed. So what we will do is to show a 1 in the cell if a certain condition or certain conditions are met. Okay, what are these conditions? The two conditions that should be met is that, okay, this one, okay, should be greater than or equal to the um, task start, and that this date is also less than or equal to the task start, okay, plus the days completed minus 1. Okay, so now what we will do is to put that in a formula format, and it will have to show either a 1 or a 0. So let's put a 1 here, and then let's multiply it with the logical function that can show or that can result to either true or false. True is 1, false is 0. So if the condition is true, this becomes 1 times 1, then that cell will show 1. If the condition is false, then this becomes 1 times 0, then the cell will display a 0. Okay, so what is that logical function? We'll use the AND logical function. And what is the condition? We'd like this, okay, and we'd like the row absolute. This one is greater than or equal to the start of the task. Okay. And the same date, let's put a dollar sign here. Okay. Should be less than or equal to the start of the task plus the days complete minus 1. That will be the formula for this to show a 1. Okay. But we will expect that this will generate an error because we used some names here that are not defined yet. Okay. So what we will do is to define these names by going to formulas, and then you'll see a name manager. You click on that and then define the name. So in my case, it goes directly to define name. And I'd like to define the name start task. And I'd like that to point to this cell, okay, and make this a relative range, okay. That will be start task, okay. And also we will be needing the end of the task here. So let's define another name. That will be task end, okay. And it will point to this one, make it relative, okay, enter. And then the last name that we want is the um, task progress. And that one should point to the progress percentage here, and this should also be relative. So we click on enter and enter. Okay. So, but I'd like to rename this to end task. Okay. Let's see if all the names are already reflected. So we have the start task. We have the end task. Let's just remove this task end here. So we just have start task, end task, and task progress. Okay. Task progress, we have to do this again. All right. Okay. So what is missing? We still have to define the days complete. Okay. Days complete, we didn't define that because we can replace that with the formula. The formula here will be task progress, okay, multiplied by the end of the task minus the start of the task, okay, plus 1. Then we have that. Then it will show 1 if the condition is satisfied. And expectedly, the condition is satisfied. I'll just have to remove that and we'll copy the formula to the right. And it will show a 1, okay, when the condition is satisfied, and a 0 if it doesn't, if it's not true, okay. So it works here, but we don't want to show a 1 and a 0 in our bars. What we want is that it will also show a shade similar to this to show that this has already been completed, and those that are not completed yet will just remain as yellow or light yellow colored shades. So what we will do, since this formula already works, we just have to copy this and apply this in conditional formatting. We need to copy this range, okay, and we'll go to home, conditional formatting. We'll set a new rule for this particular range. So you go to the part when you can choose a formula, use a formula, then we'll copy the formula there and we'll change the fill to light gray and click on OK and click on OK. Now we have that. Okay. So we have this. So ones, okay, representing the ones that are completed, and zeros are the ones that are not completed yet. This 1, 2, 3. Okay. 7. This is 7. So that's why we only have 3. shaded there. If we make this 75%, that will also adjust. We make it 100%. That means everything is shaded in gray. So we have 50% here. These ones are not shaded because 25, we only have how many? 3 days. So if we put here 50%, that will change. Okay. Or if we put here 75%, okay, there will be changes. Okay, so now our Gantt chart looks good. Okay, maybe we can just do some formatting to just make this bold. Okay, and remove the ones and the zeros here. Okay, and the date today is 13. Okay. This one we have to make it bold. And what else can we do? Maybe we can make this a bit bigger. Okay, and we can put that here. All right, and maybe we can just enter some. Okay. All right, so now you know how to, okay, this is the person in charge, and then we'll just, okay. Now you know how to create a Gantt chart, and you use this in designing or creating your own Gantt chart that will reflect all the activities in your project. And if you will be printing this, you don't want to print this scroll bar, so you can right click and go to format control and go to properties and unclick print object, so that if you decide to print this in a landscape orientation, the scroll bar will no longer appear. All right. So I'll expect that you'll be working on your Gantt chart and that you'll be using this to make it neater and a better presentation. Okay. Thank you.